Hello and welcome to part 2 of our Deportivo La Coruna save. In this episode we're going to continue on from where we left off last episode all the way until the end of the season. And if you haven't seen part 1 yet, what are you playing at? It's right there, get it checked out and then be back here for part 2. And for those of you up to speed, buckle in. Our first game puts us against Badajoz. Ibai Gomez converts his penalty, followed by Villarez firing in a thunderbolt. Things don't last for too long though as they get a breakthrough and make it 2-1. Ibai Gomez has another penalty, this time it's saved. And finally, a defensive error by us gifts Badajoz a draw. We then carry on winning the next 2 games comfortably and drawing the next. Copa del Rey time against Mallorca, who draw first blood. Romero replies 10 minutes later, and as the game goes into extra time, they score pretty quickly and put the nail in the coffin a few moments later. This loss does mean that we don't have to pay the bonus for winning the cup from Romero's transfer arrangement, saving us around €2.5 million. Back to the league, and 15 minutes in, Trilly sees red. Despite being a man down, we find a lead through Issy, and we double up as Romero deflects Florenzi's shot into the net. Similar to Badajoz, they find space behind our defence, scoring from an acute angle, with a corner goal tying the game up 2-2. Goalfest continue with both a win and a draw in the next games. January rolls around the corner and Carnero, who's been complaining of game time, sees his loan terminated and sent back to Valladolid. Following him out of the door was right back Antonito, who also wanted more game time and had a contract expiring this summer, as well as having around €3,500 a week salary. We recalled Retu, who was doing well on loan and needed experience at a higher level. We also recalled Mendes for the same reason, both players showing good promise and have a chance of scratching the first team this season. And with 2 fullbacks gone, we need to plug the holes. Sifu was the right back of choice on a free, a solid player who's very happy to be a fringe player for us. The left back option was filled by Vasilis Zagaritis on loan from Parma. From our youth team I promoted Kevin as he was playing very well and started to knock on the door of the first team, suitable for some minutes off the bench. We've been unbeaten in the league so far this season and Castilla were looking for revenge and scored first with the free kick. Thankfully we levelled the game after half time. Issy then scored but unfortunately it was ruled out, and in the 81st minute Castilla took the lead. With the invincible streak on the line, one man had to step up, and that man was new signing Sifu, who wasn't going to let us down and equalises with a stunning volley. I think for that goal you should drop a like. After the 2-2 draw to Castilla, we went on a nice win spree. Unionistas got in our way and led the game for a while, but in the 82nd minute, Romero tied the game up. Unfortunately, it came at a cost and Ibai Gomez was sidelined for the remainder of the season with a damaged Achilles. We kicked on into the season fighting for Ibai. Peque scored early against Ceuta. David Mella converted from close range to make it 2. Against the grade of play, Ceuta burst through our defence to make the game 2-1. However, Kevin was on the pitch getting free to score his first goal, as well as nodding in a header to score his second. 2 goals for his injured mentor Ibai. 4-1 the final score. Youth intake rolled around and was quite underwhelming from face value. Remisero was a pick of the bunch and looked a strong player, close to first team level. Another useful player was Salvador Avila. Apparently a natural striker with 5 finishing. He's going to be used as an attacking midfielder, which I think would suit him much better. 5 games out from the end of the season and Peque scored the only goal against Cordoba, allowing us to lift the trophy at home. However, there is one more feat that is in touching distance this season. With the trophy secured and next season's planning due to begin, the board give us the budgets. A lovely $750k to spend and a mouthwatering $45k for wages, which will end up being around $55-60k after some departures. But I do think a chunk of this new wage budget will be used on new contracts. We already have 1 player less for next season, with Sanchez agreeing a $220k deal with Vizela. The board are of course happy with our management over the course of the season, but weirdly the fans are a tough old crowd and they don't quite think the same. Second to last match of the season and this worldie is scored by youth intake player Remisero. What a goal. Here are the fixtures up until the final game to give yourself a little recap. We've had some very hot streaks this year, but one thing still remains in touching distance. One last game between us and the invincible season. So the final game of the season has come around and boy oh boy, it's been a tough old season. As you can see already, we are unbeaten all the way through, aside from the Copa del Rey, but we're not going to count that here. It's a shame Trilly can't be here to hopefully have the invincible season, but he's on international duty with the Spain under 20s, which he's deserved. He's a very good player. In his place, we will have Remisero, the youth intake player. Florenzi has to play. He's been a superstar all season. Issy will play. Villarez, McKay. Cabal won't play. We will go with Danny Barcia because he's been probably one of the main players at centre-back. I wish Ibai Gomez could stay out the season, but he's still injured from that injury we talked about earlier on in the video. So David Meyer will start on the left side, and Romero, of course, up top. You know what? I've never really used this one before. But I'm going to point the finger. Don't let our good run of form come to an end here, because then we lose the streak. I genuinely feel the most nervous about this one. There's been times we've been up against the ropes, but this one, probably because it's the last one, I'm feeling it. Come on, Mela. Oh, you see. Go on, Mela. Zagritis. What a rocket from Villarez, who's just had a recent contract extension. He's ready for La Liga 2. It'd be really nice to grab a quick fire double. Villarez looks so up for it this game. I mean, he does most games, to be honest, but this one, he's got that little extra fire that we love to see. Mela. David Mela. What a cross, by the way, from Romero. What a cross. The funny thing with Mela, he's not exactly the biggest guy either. He's 5'7". His heading's below average, like jumping reach is piss poor. I don't know, he scored a few headers this season. It's kind of wild. It's a pen. I think we're gonna absolutely batter these last game of the season. Florenzi, we've not missed a penalty all season.
Very false.
It's half time, and let's be honest, what more could we ask of the team? You see, the thing is sure, they shouldn't have got past the defence, but Ian McKay has been kind of poor when shots have faced him. Or when he's faced shots, I should say. Oh, get him off. Get him off. Let's see this out. There it is. Off he goes. Ilias Chiera. No relation to Ilias Chair. The guy who plays for, is it Reading or something like that? QPR. That's who it is. QPR. Go on, Zagaritis. Oh, Jesus Christ, Florenzi. Go for the corner flag. I've just noticed this is Jonathan Biabiani. I did not know he was over here in Spain. I remember him from FIFA. You know, the days like Inter Parma, 95 pace or whatever it was. What a guy. What a legend. Romero. Oh, he's got a score today. He hasn't scored, but... There we go. 3-2. He's cutting it too fine. I don't like this. Should be game. There it is. There it is. Confirmation. Deportivo La Coruna. Complete invincible season. What a journey. I think that honestly that's the first time I've ever had an invincible season with any team. Next season it's going to be much harder and we're going to be nowhere near an invincible season. But let's take it whilst we're at it this season and celebrate. I just want to give you a little rundown of how the players performed over the season and basically show you some of the key players. So first, David Romero, and my did he score some goals. 31 appearances, 5 off the bench. He bagged 32 goals, 9 player of the matches. Easily the standout player of this season. What a purchase. Ibai Gomez, despite having a long injury, also did very well for us this season. 19 goals in the league, 8 assists, 6 player of the matches. Just an all-round menace. Aldo Florenzi played a lot of games for us, quite an influential player. He got 3 assists, 7 goals. Not so many player of the matches, but when you have Gomez and you have Romero, it's pretty hard to get that accolade. Another attacker who did quite well for us was Peque. For the first maybe 9-10 games, I didn't really bother playing him, and then I decided to stop playing him, and well, that was a fantastic decision. 14 assists, 5 goals, 26 games, 7.12 rating. Pretty solid in my eyes. I look forward to next season with him. And defensively, the only person pretty much that's a standout was Trilly. He's just been phenomenal all season, played very well, been a key player for us. We're very lucky still to have him under contract. I'm surprised a bigger club hasn't come in for him. I don't think anybody's even interested in him, which is just outrageous. We do have a 23 million clause on him because I think he's going to be that valuable. But I guess time will tell. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I look forward to seeing you next season. I'm out.